More than 2 years ago, fighters from the Islamic State overran Mosul, one of Iraq's largest cities. Mosul is the jihadist group's de facto capital in Iraq. It's also a key transport hub between Iraq and Syria, and it controls access to a major oil pipeline to Turkey. Last night, a Western-backed coalition of 30,000 troops launched the fight to take the city back. U.S. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter called the offensive a, quote, decisive moment in the war to defeat ISIS. Spokesman for the Allied forces said today that they'd inflicted heavy losses of life and equipment and liberated several villages on the way to the city itself. But the campaign could take months, and the long-term outcome is far from certain. Correspondent Aris Roussinos was with Kurdish peshmerga troops as they began their push towards Mosul.
As the peshmerga's vehicles pushed forwards towards Mosul, the foot soldiers covering the village suppressed the ISIS fighters hiding inside with a mixture of light and heavy weaponry, supported by airstrikes. Today's assault was just the first of a series of planned attacks on Mosul, coming from the east and south of the city in coming days.
The peshmerga are pushing through the berm that separated their territory from that of ISIS. The plan is to push ahead a few miles further, we don't know how much further, liberate a few villages on the road there.
Peshmerga from different brigades and units, totaling 4,000 in this one sector alone, have been deployed from across northern Iraq for the offensive, gathering together their meagre stocks of armour and heavy weaponry for the push towards Mosul. Peshmerga morale seemed high as they began the operation. As soon as the Peshmerga reached the ridgeline a few hundred metres from their starting point, they met resistance from ISIS fighters dug in the first village along the road.
We're only a couple of hours into the opening battle of the liberation of Mosul, and the Peshmerga have been held up by resistance from an ISIS-held village just a couple hundred metres away here past this berm. They set up a firing line.
گوندی بدنه و دعوت كده اما هجوم كردي استاو ساتر يوم بوشكان استاير جيلا قلقله تقيه شقنا سوى ما جماعه امريكان منصورين ان شاء الله كان يشتر كنترول.
Before the battle began, we were briefed with a very short campaign for the Peshmerga. Their role would be to move forward to clear villages and towns on the road to Mosul, clearing a path for the Iraqi Army to enter the city itself. Tomorrow is the Iraqi Army's turn, and they may face far more serious resistance.